Since its inception, Zumiez has grown to become one of the biggest skateboard retailers in the world. Despite their success, the actual skateboarding community despises them and what they're about. Today, we'll go over some of the reasons why they feel this way. But before we get to that, a brief look at how Zumiez came up. Zumiez Inc. is an American clothing store that sells stuff like clothes, shoes, and accessories. It was started in 1978 by two guys named Thomas Campion and Gary Haakenson. They focused on clothes for young guys and girls who are into action sports like skateboarding and snowboarding. The main office is in Lynnwood, Washington, and the big boss right now is Richard Brooks. When they first opened a store in Seattle in 1978, it had a different name, Above the Belt. In the 1980s, Zumiez grew fast, opening stores in places like Everett Mall, Alderwood Mall, and Bellevue Square in Washington. They didn't stop there. More stores popped up outside the Puget Sound area, and that's when they became Zumiez. In 2012, they moved their main office from Everett to Lynnwood, Washington. As of February 3, 2018, Zumiez had 726 stores. Most of them, about 608, are in the United States. They also have 52 in Canada, 54 in Europe, and 12 in Australia. That's a lot of places. Zumiez went big with its annual coach tour for 13 years, hitting 12 stops packed with live bands, pro skating shows, and a competition for local amateurs. They picked malls with Zumiez stores, keeping them close to home. Even though Zumiez doesn't sponsor skaters, they teamed up with big skate industry names to let amateur skaters join the coach tour. Winners in 2013 got trophies from cool brands like Bones Bearings, Paramore, and others. Zumiez goes the extra mile by showcasing brand partners, promotions, social content, videos, and recommendations from pro riders in the inspiration section. It's like giving shoppers a deep dive into the skateboarding world. Now, about the twist in the tale. Zumiez, despite being successful, has an interesting story. Even though they specialize in sports and activewear, some customers aren't big fans. It's a curious case where a brand, popular as it is, also gets criticism from the same community it serves. Skateboarders often raise a concern that Zumiez seems to exist solely for selling stuff. Unlike local shops that used profits to support the community, hosting events and such, Zumiez, despite making big profits, is seen as less invested in the skateboarding culture. Another major gripe is that Zumiez is accused of harming the local skateboarding industry. With over 700 locations, their massive expansion is seen by some as negatively impacting the local scene. Many skaters express discontent with Zumiez primarily because it is not owned by skaters, a factor considered crucial within the skateboarding community. The absence of skater ownership is seen as a significant contributor to the various issues skaters have with Zumiez. Despite positioning itself as a skate shop, a notable portion of Zumiez staff doesn't engage in skateboarding. There is a prevailing sentiment among skaters that a considerable number of employees lack a genuine understanding of skate culture and the intricacies of skateboard equipment. While a few may have some basic skateboarding skills, the majority might struggle to differentiate between fundamental tricks like a kickflip and a heel flip. While one's hobbies may not be crucial for many jobs, working at a skate shop necessitates a solid understanding of skateboarding. In this context, the person behind the counter plays a role in providing accurate advice, especially when it comes to selecting high-performance decks. Consider the analogy of seeking surfboard advice from a non-surfer at a surf shop. It just wouldn't make sense. It gets worse when beginners assume that the staff at a skate shop shares their passion for the sport. Consequently, novice skaters might unknowingly receive guidance from individuals who lack first-hand knowledge, leading to potentially misinformed recommendations for someone buying their very first skateboard. Skateboarding involves nuanced details, where factors like board size, wheel diameter, and truck size significantly impact one's skating experience. At a genuinely core skate shop owned by skaters, there's a higher likelihood that the staff has immersed themselves in skateboarding for a substantial part of their lives. This deep connection to the sport enables them to offer valuable insights and guidance on the products they sell. In contrast, while many Zumiez employees may be well-intentioned individuals, the potential lack of personal skateboarding experience limits their ability to provide the in-depth knowledge and genuine care that is often expected in a skate shop environment. The point here is not to criticize Zumiez employees individually, but to emphasize the importance of personal skateboarding involvement when working at a store that specializes in skate supplies. The second key reason behind skaters' reservations about Zumiez is its perceived lack of contribution to the skateboarding community. Unlike many other sports and activities, skateboarding and its associated shops often play a multifaceted role beyond just selling products. Core skate shops typically engage in activities that actively nurture the local skate scene. This involves hosting video premieres, advocating for new skate parks, bringing professional skate teams for signings and demos, sponsoring local skateboarders, organizing skate contests, and providing a social space for skaters to gather. The primary goal of a core skate shop extends beyond profit-making, emphasizing a commitment to advancing and supporting the local skate culture. In contrast, Zumiez is often criticized for focusing primarily on financial gains and contributing less to the broader skateboarding community. While Zumiez has sponsored contests in the past, critics argue that these efforts are infrequent and fall short of what is considered the bare minimum in comparison to local core skate shops. Unlike the ongoing initiatives undertaken by core skate shops to support the skateboarding community, Zumiez is perceived as lacking a consistent commitment. For those unfamiliar with skate culture, the expectation of a business being deeply involved with its customers might seem unusual. However, this high level of involvement is seen by skaters as crucial for sustaining a vibrant skate environment. The critique is that for Zumiez, skateboarding is primarily an image utilized to sell products, and if they believed another subculture could be more profitable, they might not hesitate to make a switch. The third point contributing to skaters' dissatisfaction with Zumiez is their perceived lack of alignment with the brands favored by skateboarders. Despite having a significantly larger inventory compared to local skate shops, Zumiez tends to predominantly stock brands that aren't popular among actual skateboarders. While not every brand at Zumiez is disliked by skaters, a substantial percentage falls into this category. The irony lies in the fact that Zumiez predominantly carries larger brands that facilitate bulk purchases, aiming to reduce costs. However, this strategy overlooks the smaller skate companies that core skateboarders genuinely appreciate. Due to being a large corporation, Zumiez prioritizes dealings with major companies, making it challenging to cater to the preferences of skaters who support smaller, independent skate brands. In addition to the brand selection issue, Zumiez has come under criticism for expanding its inventory to include more non-skateboarding related brands. The decision not to prioritize well-regarded skate brands further suggests that their target market may not align with actual skateboarders. Rather, critics argue that Zumiez's focus appears to be on attracting individuals who may not skate but want to adopt the aesthetic associated with the culture. While there are exceptions, it's speculated that a significant portion of Zumiez's customer base consists of people who aren't genuinely engaged in skateboarding but are drawn to the style. This perception contributes to the notion that Zumiez caters more to those who want to emulate the skate culture than to those who are rooted in the skateboarding community itself. Moving on, another reason for skaters' discontent with Zumiez is the perception that the store has a sold-out skate culture. Skateboarding, historically underground, has witnessed increased mainstream popularity, and some argue that companies like Zumiez have capitalized on this trend, turning it into a commodified venture for profit. The criticism extends to the claim that Zumiez, essentially a generic mall apparel store, has masqueraded as a skate shop while not authentically catering to real skateboarders. Instead, it's argued that Zumiez sells an image of what they believe skateboarding represents to those who may not engage in the sport. The concern is that this approach dilutes the genuine essence of skate culture in pursuit of commercial success. Skateboarders are often quick to see through what they perceive as a facade, recognizing that Zumiez may not authentically represent the skate culture. However, the criticism extends to the observation that non-skateboarders who might not be aware of the intricacies are less discerning and, for the most part, indifferent. The argument is that the customer base at Zumiez largely comprises of individuals who find skateboarding cool but don't actively participate in the sport. These customers are seen as seeking to adopt the skateboarding vibe without actually engaging in the activity, and Zumiez is criticized for capitalizing on this desire by selling an image rather than a genuine connection to skate culture. The final reason is Zumiez's impact on small skate shops, often putting them out of business. Many skateboarding shops are relatively small, and local skate shops typically operate on tight budgets, relying on the support of the community to stay afloat. However, when Zumiez establishes a presence in a town, it's argued that they can outmuscle local shop prices and attract business, especially from parents who may not be familiar with the local skate shops. This competition can divert potential customers away from supporting their local skate shop, with many newcomers opting for the convenience of shopping at the mall instead. The consequence is that small skate shops already operating on slim margins will struggle. Regrettably, this constitutes a significant portion of the customer base for local skate shops, and competing with larger retailers like Zumiez proves to be a formidable challenge. In some instances, Zumiez has entered towns, effectively driving smaller local skate shops out of business before eventually closing down themselves. While a big company opening and closing a single location might be considered a standard business practice, the closure of a local skate shop can have severe consequences, potentially leading to the dismantling of an entire town's skate culture. Do you think the skaters are on the right track? Let me know in the comments. Please make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content.